Hey, what's up, HeelCast Nation? You're about to be entertained by a great HeelCast episode tonight. I have a lot of guests joining me tonight. We got the one, the only, he's back, Robert, Wrestling Robert. How you doing?
Hey, it has been in quite some time, but I am happy to be back home at the HeelCast. This is my first show ever since Hurricane Maria. I am doing fine. My family is doing fine, but I'm not here to talk about myself. Obviously, I'm here to talk about Impact Wrestling.
And joining us tonight, we have two very special guests. One guest who this will be his first time on the HeelCast. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Larkin. Larkin, talk about yourself and tell us how long you've been an Impact Wrestling fan.
Wow. Okay, well, thank you all very much for having me. I've been an Impact Wrestling fan since 2004, early Impact days. My first event I ever watched of theirs was the second-year anniversary show. That featured Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles for the X Division Championship on it, and ever since then I've been a fan of Impact Wrestling. I got my own show, the S&M Show podcast that I do. I've had a couple of Impact stars on there, like Jesse Neal. I recently just had Congo Kong on, and I love what I do, and I love to talk about wrestling and especially Impact Wrestling. So thank you very much. I look forward to having fun tonight.
Awesome. Glad to have you on board, Larkin. And
thank you.
For our next guest, she has been on only one other time on the HeelCast. Ladies and gentlemen, my favorite, Ebony. Ebony, how are you doing?
Great, and yourself?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, wonderful. I know this is only your second time being on the HeelCast, but we're glad to have you tonight.
Thank you. I'm glad to be on.
All right, with that, we got to give our shout-out, our plugs. Want to shout out to Andre Corbeil. He follows us all the time, one of our best listeners. Want to give a shout-out to the Impact Lounge, BQ, doing his thing over there. Make sure you check him out. Make sure you go to impactasylum.net. We have a lot of cool articles up there. We're also doing the booking challenge. You can read my booking. Tell me what you think, if you like it, if you don't. Like I said, I like to throw a lot of Attitude Era style writing in there. But get over there, check it out. Want to also do a plug for our very own Robert. Robert Does Wrestling. Robert, why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, so I have a little YouTube channel, and most of the time I do Impact reviews and Impact covers because obviously I'm a guitarist. For the time being, due to not having power, I will not be uploading that much stuff. But hopefully by next week, I will be back on track. And I have a lot of stuff, already planned out. Just, all I need to do is record it and upload it, and you'll be pretty impressed with the amount of equipment I was able to acquire during this whole thing. So hopefully you give it my channel a shot.
That's awesome. Also want to give a shout-out to FK9 Straight Shooting. Check him out. He's been going through a tough time with some personal issues, so just want to give our thoughts and prayers to FK9, and make sure you check his column out. All right, with that, we got some news. We got some news this week. We're going to start it off small. We're going to start it off with an interview recently. Wes Briscoe did an interview, and I guess it was controversial to some. He basically said the Shield was a ripoff of what the Aces and Eights did. So why don't we start off with you, Robert? What do you think of this?
There have been other cases which WWE have, borrowed without permission from ideas from Impact. However, I do not think that is the case. I think it is a stretch, to be honest. I was not a fan of the Shield or the Aces and Eights, so I, to be honest, do not have a pick during that fight. But I think it is a stretch, to be honest.
Larkin, why don't you give your thoughts?
the feeling is mutual on that. I think it's a stretch to say that, the Shield is a rip-off of Aces and Eights. Personally, that's pretty much all I got to just agree with Robert on that, man. Yeah, just the feeling's mutual. I really have no opinion one way or the other on it.
Ebony.
I really don't know too much about the situation, so it's that I not comment on it.
Gotcha. Nice, short, and sweet. My take is that when the Aces and Eights started, it was a really hot angle. It was a Bischoff angle. He loves factions, obviously. And, the Aces and Eights was really good while they had their masks on. When they took the masks off and we kind of found out who was underneath the mask, it was a little disappointing. When the Shield debuted, it was similar in the fact that the first night they did wear masks. But I think the Shield kind of separated themselves after that. And probably the Shield made a little more impact just because of the fact that their angle kind of didn't really disappoint like the Aces and Eights did. So I really don't think, maybe at first you could have said, okay, I see the similarities. But after that, not so much. I think the Shield kind of proved that they're their own thing. So, and anyways, I mean, Aces and Eights got heavily influenced by the show Sons of Anarchy. So that's really all I have to say about that. Moving on, there are some rumors that we might be potentially losing some wrestlers in the near future. Bobby Lashley, EC3, Eddie Edwards, and DJ Z. Robert.
I also read those rumors. My judgment about those rumors is that I will believe it once I see it. I don't think they will, neither of the three except Lashley will leave Impact, because if you ask EC3, hey, EC3, how Derek Bateman worked for you? And, he was stuck on NXT for 4 years. Why the hell would you want to leave Impact? That is not a wise choice. But my overall judgment is the following. I will believe it once I see it. I do not believe that type of rumors because it sounds very vague. It will not tell you, obviously, the date or anything like that, or give you a hint. It is, I do not believe those type of rumors and innuendos.
Larkin, what do you feel about this?
Sure. My take on that is, I like Robert said, we'll see, what happens in the future, where it comes. If it does happen, I think all of them will be fine. DJ Z, speedy recovery to him. I know he's having a rough week. EC3, if he does decide to go back to NXT, there's a lot of fresh matchups for him there. In the case of Bobby Lashley, if he decides to go do whatever he does, whether it be MMA, or go back to WWE, there's that match with Brock Lesnar. And Eddie Edwards, man, if he leaves too, I mean, there's always Pro Wrestling Noah. You can always go back to Ring of Honor. But like I said, let's see what the future holds for them. It would be a blow to Impact. But again, let's just see what the future holds.
Ebony, what's your thoughts on this?
Everyone knows I'm a huge Bobby Lashley fan. So if Bobby were to leave, I'm kind of preparing for it now since the rumors have been going around for a while. Even though I don't want him to leave, he's pretty much beaten everyone in Impact. So I'm not surprised that he's finally getting tired of it, you could say. And it's just like, how many times I got to see him fight Alberto? I'm tired of seeing him versus Alberto, that whole situation. But the others, I don't see the others leaving just yet. I think EC3 still has another world title run. Eddie Edwards probably go back to the X Division again. And DJ Z, I'm hoping he doesn't leave because he hasn't been back for a while.
Yeah, I think that DJ Z, they haven't really used him. I don't really know what the future is, but he's definitely been wrestling in other independent organizations, and he just recently got injured. He ruptured a disc in his neck, I believe, pretty serious, but he says he's going to be all right. He's just going to be out a couple of months. So my hope is that they do bring DJZ back. I think he's a hell of a talent, and they could utilize him in the Grand Division. They could team him up with somebody. He could be a heavyweight champion someday. So I really hope DJZ stays. I think Eddie Edwards is the same. He's been great for Impact. The only thing that scares me, I know WWE does have interest in him, and they're talking about as soon as his deal's up in February, they want to offer him a contract. So hopefully Impact is able to reach a deal with Eddie, because I think that would be huge to keep Eddie Edwards. He's such a workhorse. He does fantastic matches, and hopefully they can keep him. As far as Bobby Lashley goes, he has done pretty much everything in Impact Wrestling, but he has been their go-to guy, and I think it would hurt because he's such a dominant force. Like, people pay attention when he's out there. He's a bigger name for Impact. I would hope they would shell out some money to keep him, but there's been talks that he wants to face Brock Lesnar sometime down the road. So we'll see what happens there. And then as far as EC3 goes, I don't really know what to say. I know him and Matt Hardy are good friends, so I'm not, positive on what's going to happen there. But, I mean, like you said, Robert, he was in NXT previously, but he has stated in interviews that he feels there may be some unfinished business there. He wants to prove himself. So it'll be very interesting. I really hope that they do not lose all four of them. So that would be a big blow. So we'll keep tabs on that, and hopefully everyone resigns in a perfect world. So Impact is going back to the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida for 5 nights, I believe, January 10th through the 15th. And this question is more for Ebony. Ebony, what kind of packages do they got, and what kind of meet and greets do they got down there?
The package it costs $199 for 2 front row seats, and I believe it's a mini golf game with the wrestlers, and there's a brunch with the knockouts, and I heard it's a gift bag and 2 free months, I think, with the GFW app. I'm not quite sure about that. I mean, it's a good deal, just a little overpriced for 5 nights. I understand if it was like Bound for Glory and it was that high, but I think it's pretty good. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think to try to entice people, it's, Impact to start off a new year, they always do big things. And they got Don Callis and Scott D'Amore, who are going to be running the booking team. They're, the new vice presidents. You would think they have some stuff planned, some big stuff planned for those 5 nights. So if you're on the fence, I say you should definitely give it a shot. And just to see how the new booking is, I think it's going to be good. Plus the mini golf with the wrestlers. I love mini golf. I would do it if I lived in Orlando. Unfortunately, I'm not coming down there till March. So, anyways, our big news for the week comes with a podcast. This podcast was Chris Jericho's Talk is Jericho. He had on Scott D'Amore and Don Callis. A lot of information was dropped. A lot of insight was dropped on how Scott D'Amore and Don Callis are going to run this thing. We heard a lot of different information and stuff that completely shocked me. So, Robert, you listened to the podcast. What were some of the things that stuck out to you?
Oh, there was a lot of stuff, man. To be honest, I am quite skeptical. Why? Because it sounded very naive. And I'm not saying, Don Callis is a dumbass or something like that. No, I'm not implying that. But what I'm saying is they're going to have their core group, and they are going to build people in to play like the old territory days. That's what they are thinking about. However, time after time after time, even during the territory days, when a talent got hot on a territory, they went ahead and they signed that person. I think that might be something that is going to happen in the near future if they, have those people on a short-term deal and have the big 8 with the good contracts. That is something that I'm seeing, a mile away. Another thing, hopefully I am, wrong, but I do not want them to take the title away from Eli Drake. And it sounded like that during the podcast. They were praising how great Alberto El Patron was and, Johnny Impact and blah, blah, blah. Hopefully they don't throw the GFW original, the Impact original Eli Drake under the bus. I'm skeptical, even though, the curiosity, the saying goes, the curiosity killed the cat. Therefore, I'm also thinking about going to those first tapings just because the curiosity is beating me. I want to see the new Impact Wrestling. And hopefully this time around, they are able to, make it to the promised land, because time and time again, you have heard, Impact is signing Vince Russo, and he's going to take us to the promised land. They signed Eric Bischoff, and he's going to bring us to the promised land. And then they're going to sign John Gabur again. He's going to bring – no. I'm skeptical, obviously, but, I'm not wishing ill will to Impact, obviously, because I love the product, but I am skeptical. That is my total judgment about this whole thing. Go ahead, Larkin.
I think that I'm looking forward to what the future is going to hold. I mean, Don Callis' resume speaks for itself. In the ring, whether it be also managerial roles and announcers, where he's been, the list goes on and on. I think it adds a lot of positive there. I think they're going to bring in a lot of Canadian talents there from Scott D'Amore's Border City Wrestling. I think the key word here is hope. I'm hopeful to see what comes of Don Callis and Scott D'Amore's partnership with Impact Wrestling going into the new year.
Now, Ebony, I know you didn't specifically get to hear this podcast, but what was your thoughts about Chris Jericho vouching for Scott D'Amore and Don Callis?
I'm actually very surprised about that. I actually like when people that were from different companies actually try to help Impact instead of trying to downplay it like other people would. I just hope it all works well. I'm really rooting for Impact.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just kind of breaking this podcast down a little bit more, there was a lot of information dropped. One of the key things was they're not looking at other companies as competition. Scott D'Amore felt like that was an old way of thinking. Do you guys agree with Scott D'Amore and Don Callis' viewpoint on that specific topic? Robert?
On the intellectual property?
Yes, like working with other companies, and, another thing was allowing wrestlers to take their gimmicks elsewhere, kind of with the, we had the whole broken Matt Hardy mess, but now they've kind of have a new viewpoint on it with Don Callis and Scott D'Amore at the helm.
Let me, pull the forward here, right? About, let's say, 10 years ago, when I was, starting to play a lot of gigs here in the island, I recorded a lot of musical tracks around here, and I signed those type of agreements. When you went to the studio, you created a piece of music, it will, stood out with that person forever. They pay you the money, and that was it. So I am quite, let's say, knowledge on how this whole thing works. I wish it didn't have to be that way. Why? Because I appreciate exclusivity. When I turn into Impact, it's because I want to see a character that I will not see anywhere else in the world, because Impact is supposed to be special. Once you blend in, what is the difference? The ring, the production value, that's it. That's the only thing you can offer. It is taking a lot of taste, to be honest, and the exclusivity towards the talent. I wish it didn't have to be this way, but the way they have been beaten down by the wrestling journalists, they didn't have any other option. And either way, they are giving that away. They are trying to please the wrestling journalists, and they will get attacked, because it is not their attack against Impact. It is not a disagreement. It is that they want to get rid of Impact Wrestling. They do not want any other competition. They rather have a total monopoly. The big guy in town being Vince McMahon, and everybody else just a peasant, just a feeding farm towards, the undisputed king of wrestling. And no one have found a way how to circumvent all of that and build your own thing without first relying on the feeding farm, which that is the indies, and that is not a derogatory term. I'm using it because that is the way WWE does business right now. Every time there is a hot ad on the indies, they sign it out. They need to find a way how to circumvent that into being a special type of attraction deal without relying on either WWE talent or indie talent. But until then, we're stuck with that. Hopefully that works, but it takes kind of the shine and the speciality away from, being Impact. Let me give you an example. And I'm gonna quit talking for a second. Imagine if you go to, every single show, a musical show in the world, and you will hear, let's say, Enter Sandman by Metallica. When Metallica play their own original song, would be that special? Of course not, because if you went to every single place in the world and they have no problem playing that song and they will not get in trouble for that, then what is the attraction? You're seeing the original in the original place, yeah, and so what? But that is the way they have to play, because they don't want to get slaughtered by the wrestling journalists. That's my point of view. Go ahead, Larkin.
Well, Rob, you pretty much nailed it with that. If you see, I'll give you an example. There's talk about Laurel Van Ness obviously leaving Impact Wrestling. She asked for a release. If she takes that to the WWE stage, it's we've seen it at Impact Wrestling. It loses its feel, because that's where we originally saw it. But yeah, it's just they're trying to please the journalists, and just it is what it is. That's really how I feel about the intellectual property thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think they want a lot of positive news. They don't want all this negative stuff that's been plaguing them for the last 3 or 4 years or so. So I think this is just a new way to try to win over some of the people that may have not, may have given up on Impact, but also a way for maybe to make the talent happy. So I think that's a positive, especially at this stage of the game. I think they gotta be consistent, and they gotta try to rebuild the fan base. The other thing I wanted to mention was Scott D'Amore. Obviously, he said that he was never really in a position of power. He was on the creative team, but he's never been in this position. And Jericho kind of hinted towards hey, maybe you should let these guys take control. I promise you. He didn't say promise, but he told Ross Foreman that he guaranteed that this is the way you got to go. These guys, you've tried the Vince Russo, tried the the Jeff Jarrett, the Hulk Hogan. Why not try something new? These guys know the wrestling business. They've been around it. Don Callis, he has business experience. He's been in the business as well. These guys, Jericho, he totally shelters these guys. I think that's something that really excites me because it's kind of the unknown. I think these guys will do a good job. They know what they're doing. Let's just hope that they longer than Jeff Jarrett did. Let's hope they stay longer than Billy Corgan did. We need something.
Oh yeah.
Last thing I want to mention about this podcast was they said they kind of were asked about the talent that's going to be there. They said, there's going to be some releases or whatever because but Scott D'Amore did mention that he does value bigger names. He specifically talked about Sting and Christian and Jeff Hardy. So I don't think we're just going to all of a sudden see a major overhaul of the roster. I don't think. I think that they're still going to try to get bigger names, but they're also going to focus a lot on the new talent. Ebony, what's your thoughts on what Scott D'Amore said about the talent?
Can you repeat the question?
I just wanted to. Scott D'Amore basically just said that he values having big name talent, veterans. He's not going to just wipe the slate clean and just get a bunch of rookies out there. He knows the values of bigger names like Jeff Hardy, Bobby Lashley, guys that have name value, mostly from WWE, but he does value those guys. What's your thoughts on him valuing the talent, not just going with rookies and going with bigger name stars?
I mean, we could always use some rookies. You get tired of seeing some of the same old faces sometimes. I like the big names. Everyone knows I'm a fan of pretty much every Impact talent except for Alberto. I just don't get all the hype. Everyone looks at him as if he's our savior, and I don't get it. And I'm really happy that we have Eli as the champion because he pretty much worked his way up there. I remember when he was he came in with Drew Galloway. We need the big names to bring in more fans to look at the product. If we don't have big names, no one's really going to watch. But we do need our own talent to where we can make them grow here, and then we make them big household names. Whatever.
Yeah,
if that makes sense,
for sure.
or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. I mean, I that's why I was kind of happy because I was a little nervous if they were just going to get rid of, a lot of their established guys. It's kind of far-fetched, but it's good to know that they're going to try to keep some of those established names. And finally, last thing I want to mention is Don Callis. He's the one who got this whole Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega deal for Wrestle Kingdom 12. He got this match booked. What are the chances you guys think that Chris Jericho shows up in Impact at some time, and the possibility of New Japan Pro Wrestling having a relationship with Impact? Robert.
I'm looking forward to see that, to see the match, obviously, and see the working relationship between, Impact and New Japan. I think that is something that will happen. It might take a little bit to, for New Japan to gain some trust in Impact, but, that is going to happen. However, I'm not looking forward to see Chris Jericho as an Impact wrestler. I'd rather see him, as a GM or something else. but not in the ring. I don't think there's that match. Probably a face-off against Eli Drake, something like that, but not looking forward. However, I missed something about saying about Cyrus and the interview, and I just remember that. One thing that I noticed is that they never mention any type of numbers, and that to be honest is also worrisome, because even though I disagree a lot with his thinking and his philosophy, Vince Russo always had a number in mind. Hey, I will hit this number by hook or by crook. I will do it, and they don't seem to be that, mission-driven team. That is worrisome, but however, I wish them nothing but the best. And, I'm looking forward to see what happens, especially with what is going to happen with Impact Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling working together in the near future. That's excellent.
I do think that would be very... Oh, yeah, thank you. I do think that would be very excellent. I know they apologized to Okada, and I think that would be a great working relationship. I'm looking forward to see the Jericho-Omega match that we have coming at Wrestle Kingdom. As far as Jericho, working with Impact, maybe as like an agent role, I would love to see a Jericho-Eli Drake match. I think there's money in that. Just the promos between those two would just be hilarious and excellent. So if it's going to lead to more positivity and good stuff for Impact Wrestling going in the future, I'd love to see Jericho involved, and I'd love to see a New Japan relationship develop. Hello?
Hello?
Ebony, would you like to see a relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and do you think Chris Jericho might be showing up in Impact at some point?
I really hope so. I've been a Chris Jericho fan for a long time. So if he did show up, I might just freak out a little bit. That would be gold right there. Him versus Eli, those promos will be hilarious.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if you guys listened to the HeelCast last week, you could hear my excitement about the possible relationship with New Japan, because they have so many talented wrestlers. And the whole Jericho thing, everything's there. Don Callis, they're good buddies. Jimmy Jacobs is now working in Impact Wrestling. He's writing a bunch of stuff. I think he's done a great job. I enjoyed these Canada tapings so far. So I'm really looking forward to January 10th. Well, actually, it'll be a January 11th when we get to see it on TV. But I think it's going to be an awesome time. I mean, yes. As far as you go, Robert, there's some things to be worried about, but I think these guys get it, and I don't think they're just money marks, like we've had in the past. So I think they understand the business. So we'll see how it plays out going forward, but I'm looking forward to it. All right, so we did have an Impact episode this week, and the Impact started off with a match between Taji Ishimori defeating Caleb Conley. Robert, what did you think of this match?
Cool match, short, sweet. Ishimori is, he's a tank. This guy's like a little tank. He always managed to impress me. However, I'm looking forward to see DJC versus Ishimori, but hopefully that happens the next set of taping once DJC is recovered. But, this guy is really good. I'm looking forward to see more of Ishimori on Impact. He's excellent. I think he haven't had a bad match ever since he, jumped the chart, jumped the pound, and wrestled for Impact. This guy is talented, and I'm looking forward. And I enjoyed that match a lot. Entertaining from top to bottom, short and sweet.
As far as the match goes with Taiji Ishimori and Caleb Conley, I thought it was a great match. Taiji Ishimori is a tremendous talent, that 450. Desmond Xavier getting involved. Looking forward to an X Division Championship match with Trevor Lee and Taiji Ishimori. And with the addition of Desmond Xavier, again, it helps. So a good little mix of talent there. And I really look forward to seeing what progresses in the X Division.
Ebony, what did you think of this match?
I was not home during that match, so I was not able to catch up with that match. I can't really say too much about it.
All right. I thought it was a really good match. The crowd was really into most of it, which was pretty awesome. They were loud. So you guys at the Impact Zone, you guys gotta bring it January 10th through the 15th. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, we definitely do.
I'm rooting for you guys. You can do it.
I'm really rooting, too, because I'm tired of seeing all the hate comments, and it's always directed towards me. Like, I can't make everyone cheer.
You can do it, Ebony. I know you. I mean, I know you got a voice. You just make a signal like you're yelling. That's good enough,
Yeah.
But anyways, this match was a solid X Division match. Caleb Conley got, a lot of times his matches aren't very long, but this match was pretty long. I mean, they got a good at least 10 minutes, I would say. Really good back and forth action, and Ishimori's very, very talented, and I'm glad he picked up the win. The 450 was awesome. They did some really cool stuff. And I like how Desmond Xavier got involved, kind of even the playing field a little bit. So I thought this match was really good. It kicked off Impact and the crowd. It got the crowd going. Now, the next match, I thought the crowd was even more hyped for. It was a triple threat. It was the Knockout title tournament first-round match. It was Allie versus Rosemary versus Sienna. We saw Rosemary pick up the win. Robert, your thoughts on this match?
Another good match. I think it was who it was. I think it was Ali to Sienna that she did like a slow motion German suplex, if I'm not mistaken. That was really good. It came across on TV really, like not just another move in a seed of moves. No, it came out looking special, and I was like, hell, this, how can I put it? They went out of their way to make that move look good. And Rosemary, she's always impressive. That's something that I have talked about for quite some time, even to people who don't watch Impact or don't know anything about wrestling. They see her and ask, hey, who is she? Why is she like that? I like her look, blah, blah, blah. She's a star. I think she's the biggest female star in Impact by a long shot. But the match was good. Now, I think this is next week is the finals, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm looking forward to see Rosemary once again, hopefully in the main event spot. Go ahead, Larkin.
I thought all three women had great chemistry. The Rosemary-Allie dichotomy, I mean, those two, I've seen so many matches with them on the Indies. Cherry Bomb, Courtney Rush, tremendous, tremendous athletes. And I, too, am looking forward to seeing Laurel Van Ness against Rosemary next week in the finals. They're going to tear it up.
Ebony, your thought? Did you see this match?
Yes, I saw that match. I actually enjoyed that match very much. I think they did pretty good, and I can't wait until next week to see who wins.
Yeah, it was a really good triple threat match. A lot of time. Rosemary was mega over with the crowd. She got a huge pop as soon as her music hit. Allie, obviously, and Sienna looked good. I think they put on a hell of a match, and next week's going to be good because I felt like this Knockouts match had all the star power. Last week's match, you know, it was more just tailor-made for LVN. So next week's going to be interesting. You know, you got the crazy dynamic with Laurel Van Ness, and you got Rosemary, who's very unpredictable herself. So that's going to be a really good match, and I can't wait to see who wins. And it will be interesting to see what Allie's going to do to prove herself, because I think you could tell that's going somewhere with that. So should be interesting. Next we had KM in a segment where he wanted to prove himself to American Top Team. So he goes into this gym and he basically takes out everybody in the gym. Robert, did you like this segment?
Yes, that was my highlight of the show. You know, Kevin Matthews, KM, excellent talent, and he shines a lot during those backstage segments. Hopefully they use him a little bit more on the ring, hopefully by the next set of 18. Go ahead.
Oh, man. I've seen Kevin Matthews since his Pro Wrestling Syndicate Wrestle Pro days. That dude is something. Very talented individual. Love the Don't Call Me a Liar. Love the intensity that he had here, and I look forward to seeing what comes, whether in ring and what we got going with American Top Team. I love the segment.
Ebony.
I actually enjoyed that segment a lot. I actually thought it was pretty funny.
Man, he was KM was almost using those guys' hands on a basketball. That was
yes.
that was pretty crazy of KM. He just took out the entire gym. No, that was a cool segment. Something you would have saw the attitude era and the ruthless aggression era. You know, anytime you get brawls like that, it's cool. I think it develops his character a lot. It made him look like a badass. Like if you're watching, if you're American Top Team, how can you not add that to your team now? So I think they got it pretty soon here. But the next segment we had, which was one of my favorites, was Sami Callihan and basically disrespecting Canada, basically disrespecting LAX. You know, Sami Callihan's got just awesome skills, and he's got a voice like you haven't heard maybe since the early 90s with some of the wrestlers back then. But they were introduced from a new team called TDT. Looks like they were from French Canada. So there was some, you know, there was, I don't want to say it wasn't really a wrestling match, so to speak, but the two guys from TDT were named St. Jacques and Dubois, and basically they were just kind of duking it out until came in and hit them with the kendo stick. And then after they were about to do the all-seeing eye, everyone comes out there and just start brawling. And OVE basically leaves the ring, and I thought the crazy part was Conan throwing the kendo stick, and it goes all the way in the crowd. I think it hit a couple people. But Robert, did you enjoy this segment as much as I did?
Yeah, that's good. I noticed that they have finally put, you know, LAX in the right spot when it comes down to being either a face, a heel, or a twinner. I think they are a lot more effective when they are twinners. So at this point, you know, during this whole thing, when OVE made their debut, they were kind of like baby faces, but they are rather seen as heels. And LAX, it is better, you know, it is more effective as baby faces. And I want to see more of that stuff. And, you know, the last match that they had during the tapings, you know, I'm looking forward to see that match. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't search that. Don't search for spoilers. Just enjoy the stuff that it is happening on, you know, on the TV. And it is going to be fun. Hardcore fun. Go ahead, Larkin.
Oh, dude, I love the segment. Sammy Callahan makes OVE. Love the promos, the TDT beatdown, LAX coming out. I'm looking forward to that epic confrontation again with LAX and OVE. Just great brawls and just great action. I'm really looking forward to more from this feud.
I actually look forward to this battle. I love this feud. Anyone knows me, I love LAX. All my artwork that I do for them. I can't wait to see them in person in January. I can't wait to see the matches. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, Ebony, I saw your artwork. Your artwork's awesome. I love the stuff that you did with LAX, so I know you'll be ripping that the Impact tapings.
Thank you.
It's really good. Anyways, we had the next match, which was for the Grand Championship. We've been kind of going at it the last few weeks. Matt Sydal versus EC3. And one of our HeelCast favorites, Fala Ba, was a special judge for the match. So, Robert, we saw this match in a tie. What did you think of this match?
It was all right. I'm not a fan of Matt Sydal, so therefore I don't pay that much attention to his matches. I'm sorry for being like that, but I just don't. I don't think he's up to that level. However, most of the time I was, paying attention to Falaba and his mannerism as a judge. He had me rolling, had me laughing, and having a great time. So kudos to him. He's able to make everything that Impact have given him, work, and that's good. That is excellent, especially in. There is a new change in the guard. EC3, they need to put. I don't know what's going on. Why he's in the mid card for the time being, but I think it's better if they just move him away from that title and put him versus Johnny Impact, and put him versus Alberto, and put him, many different things. Go ahead, Larkin.
Falaba entertains the hell out of me, man. I loved him in the jacket, the ba. I dig Falaba. Great athlete, just very entertaining. I thought those two have great chemistry, EC3 and Matt Sydal. I've always enjoyed Matt Sydal's stuff, whether he was in Ring of Honor, his now at Impact Wrestling, WWE, even a little company called Wrestling Society X. The dude is incredible, and I love the storytelling. We can't win the big one. We had the tie here, and I think when he does, get to that point where it looks like we're going towards a direction possibly where he does capture, it's going to make it a hell of a lot special, man. I'm really digging this feud.
I actually enjoyed the match. It was pretty good. It's just I was interrupted every now and then during the match, so I couldn't see it in its entirety. But it seemed like it was a pretty good match.
So then, I really enjoyed this match. I think it was, I know that Raven Effect and GWM, formerly known as Impact, formerly known as GWF Dude, GFW Dude, formerly known as Team. I know they do not like the Grand Championship format. I personally don't mind it as much, and I thought it was a solid match, and I like the fact that it ended a tie, and I thought it was hilarious once EC3 started making the choking sound. It was pretty funny. So, I think these two at least duke it out for at least till the end of the Canada tapings, and I think they should. And I think Matt Sydal definitely deserves some type of title. He's a very talented worker. I think the Grand Championship would be perfect for him, and then it could possibly get EC3 back into the heavyweight division. So looking forward to see where that goes. The next match that we had they promoted it from last week. It was Chance Storm and Moose Bobby Lashley and Dan Lambert. Robert.
Oh boy, the match was alright. However, my kind of little bit of complaint is the positioning. Why? Because as far as we know, this is the last match of the Cowboy, TNA Original. I think that should have been the ending of the show. Having him leaving and being his last time around. I think that placement it could have been a little bit better. And Lashley is a monster. He carries the whole thing, like it was nothing. These guys are this, and it's gonna be painful if he leaves the promotion. Impact have a lot, of, how can I put it, personal valor. Very important person in Lashley. He's able to do everything, tacting matches. So either way, it is, hurtful. But the big thing that, the biggest thing that I didn't like about the match was the placement. I wish it was the ending of the match. The show, sorry. Go ahead, Larkin.
I think it served its purpose, man. Dan Lambert has been cracking me up. I've been loving his promos. He pretty much did the chicken shit heel thing, man. I mean, tagging in, letting them Lashley do the work, Moose and James Storm getting in there, and then in the end he sneaks in and pins James Storm. I think we're going to get that final battle with Lashley and Moose, and I think it was just great storytelling. So I'm looking forward to seeing where you progress with this feud as well.
I actually enjoyed the match. I'm a huge Lashley fan, and I'm actually a fan of James Storm. I felt bad that he had to be on Moose's team. I don't really like Moose. But it was a pretty good match. I wish it would have actually been a little longer because it was short. But overall, it was a great match.
Yeah, I think this was, this was the match probably I didn't care for as much as the other ones. I don't know exactly why. I do enjoy the American Top Team, and I believe his name was John Hartnett. He's the guy who keeps getting beat up from American Top Team. That guy's hilarious. But the match was perfect. Dan Lambert, he got the heat, for getting the pin. Really, really good stuff from that they're putting on. So I'm just not really sure where it's all going to go. I think eventually there's going to have to be an end game, and I think Moose is kind of taken. It's kind of fell a few pegs down the card to me, and I think they need to kind of readjust how the way they're using Moose, because I think he's really talented, and I mean the guy signed a 3-year deal this past May, so obviously they're going to have some big plans for him. I just hope that he starts getting maybe booked a little bit stronger, but good stuff though from American Top Team. I'm always laughing at something they're doing, so it was good stuff. The next thing I want to talk about, which this stuff has been, since we saw it last week, it had me just laughing myself. We had the promo for the Park Attorneys at Law. What did you think of this, Robert?
Yeah. How can I put it? During the whole Cyrus thing, the interview, right? They were talking about the cultural differences between, different places that see Impact, right? And I noticed that with this type of promotion. This type of, let's say, cheesy infomercials is not, seen here in Puerto Rico. I ended up, knowing what the hell was that during that video that went viral, Shock Testa. If you don't know what that is, go ahead and Google it after you finish listening to this podcast. So that is something that I ended up knowing about later in life. If obviously I would hadn't, grew up watching that kind of stuff, maybe I would have, laughed a little bit. Either way, I enjoy it. Joseph Park is nice, and that ending, type of line of quote saying that, you don't have to know the law, you just only need to know the judge. That was hilarious. Obviously, implying that they are tricksters and scam artists. So that is like a little bit of drive that I had with the whole thing, but I enjoy it. But obviously, if I would have grown up watching those type of infomercials, probably I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. Go ahead, Larkin.
I thought it was funny. I do enjoy this team, very entertaining. Joseph and Chandler Park, Ethan Page. Dude, it's funny. It really is. It just makes me laugh. Grado, as we know, is doing his whatever he's doing now. He's taking some time off. So it's fun to see Ethan Page in this role, and I look forward to seeing the dichotomy between the Parks.
I actually didn't see the promo, so I can't really comment on it.
Oh, Ebony, you gotta check it out on YouTube when you get a chance. It's pretty hilarious. But oh man, I just want to ask you, Larkin, are you familiar with Ethan Page's indie work?
I've seen his Evolve stuff, yes.
Okay, how drastically different is this character to his stuff with Evolve?
Oh my God! So he's all ego Ethan Page on the indies. Watching that to Chandler Park it's completely different.
Is his stuff on Evolve? Is it more of a cocky heel type?
Yeah, it's more cocky heel since he's doing the whole all ego. He's the Ethan Page, and then you see him doing the comedy character on Impact Wrestling. It's kind of like a 180.
That's awesome. But anyways, so our next match was actually the main event. It had Raven FX, Man Crush, Johnny Impact, and P.D. Williams taking on Eli Drake and Chris Adonis. The main event, Robert, what did you think of the main event?
It was good. I'm not, that big of a fan of this guy, Chris Master. I wish he wasn't in the main event of Impact, obviously. But having the champion at the end of the show, is understandable. My pick would have been James Storm ending the show. But it is what it is. Tag team match at the main event, a little bit something fresh. And you are not wasting pairs time type of matches. The matchup between Master and PD became, looking kind of, how can you put it? Chris Master is huge, PD is quite small, so it looks like disadvantage type of deal. I'm not, that big on that Goliath versus David type of, pairing up, but it worked. It was fun. And it is always good seeing, P.D. Williams getting a push, someone that had a lot of fans, especially during the heyday, and he has not missed a step. I don't know what he's drinking or something, but he is as good as he has always been. Go ahead, Larkin.
I've always been a fan of Petey Williams since the Little Petey Pump days, the Team Canada days. Very happy that he's back with the company. Johnny Mundo was fine. Eli Drake, I can do without Chris Adonis. But other than that, I did enjoy the match. I like the dichotomy with Alberto and Eli afterwards. And I think we're going to get a triple threat on the horizon with Eli Drake, Johnny Impact, and Alberto El Patron. So that is something to look forward to.
I actually enjoyed the match very much. It was pretty good. I just hated the ending. And I hated when Alberto came out and attacked Eli. I just don't like the fact that he's just now coming back again and he's already on the title scene once again. That's my only complaint.
Yeah, I think it was kind of quick that they put him going up against Eli Drake, but I mean I thought the feud with Johnny Impact was just going to be a one-on-one, but it kind of looks like it's going to be a triple threat style feud. But I mean I get it too because he never really lost the title, so he's got something to claim. So that'll be interesting to see when they finally all three lock horns. As far as this main event, I thought it was really good. I thought it was a good way to kind of get Petey Williams in there because he's so over with the crowd. I thought, Johnny Impact does his thing. And I actually think Chris Adonis has improved. I really like him in this role, kind of being Eli Drake's sidekick. I like Chris Adonis. I think he's doing a little bit better job than Tyrus did. And I know Tyrus, I like Tyrus. Don't get me wrong. But it just never seemed like him and Eli Drake ever really clicked that much. Whereas I think Chris Adonis and Eli Drake, you can kind of see some chemistry there. It's kind of working. So I don't really mind Chris Adonis as long as he's kind of used in this role. But the match itself I thought was really good. Petey Williams looks awesome, and the reactions he gets in carrying are great. It just comes off way better. So yeah, I thought the main event was good. I also didn't really care for Alberto kind of coming in there. He's going to be involved in the main event scene again. I didn't really care for that. So, yeah, next week we got the championship match for the Knockouts title tournament. We got Laurel Von Ness versus Rosemary. We also have Conan. He's going to make a proposal for Sami Callihan. They're going to meet in the ring. It's going to be good stuff. So overall impact, what did you think, Robert?
That is a solid pass. As it is not like in the top 5 best episodes of the year, but it was a solid show, easy to watch. That is what I'm looking to get out of Impact. That when I download the show, I was able to watch it in one full sit down without, getting myself bored or anything like that. So, as I mentioned, they accomplished that with this week episode. I'm looking forward to, the ending of the tournament to crown the new Knockouts champion and see how things progress. I'm keeping the eye still on Impact, but what I'm looking forward the most is the January tapings. I am quite excited, hopeful, kind of skeptical. It is everything. It is a mix of everything, but that is what makes Impact so special because they are like a side project that you're watching with your own eyes. You see the wins, you see the losses, and that is what makes you be so close with Impact Wrestling because you see the struggle and you see the wins. So I'm looking forward to see, how they turn the new engine that is going to be the new booking team in the future. And next week, it is kind of that I think two more shows, if I'm not mistaken. So that it is the one with the knockouts and the one with LAX. So hopefully two good shows before the new booking season. So I'm looking forward to see what the hell is gonna happen, and I enjoy the show quite a lot. Go ahead, Larkin.
Oh, well, I thought it was a solid show with a lot of hard work. I enjoyed it very much. Very optimistic to see what the future holds for Impact Wrestling.
I enjoyed the show very much. It wasn't the best, but it was pretty good. But I'm looking forward to next week's episode.
I thought this Impact was really solid, and a lot of that had to do with the crowd. Like, the crowd was into it all night. It really does make a big difference if the crowd is cheering and they're into the match and the action, and you're getting more energy across through the TV screen. So for that, I got to give this Impact like 8.1 just for the fact that the crowd was going. They were going on. I mean, I thought the matches were really good. Storylines were, they were all right, but it was a good Impact. I mean, I thought it was better than some of the previous weeks that they've had so far. So, good showing from Impact tonight. All right, guys, you guys have any final thoughts before we head on out, Robert?
What would be my final thoughts? Don't get discouraged by the new changes. Changes is eternal. Keep watching Impact. Keep supporting the HeelCast, and hopefully I will be a lot more here on the podcast and be back with my own show on YouTube. Either way, thank you a lot to everybody who's listening all the way through, because those are the people who make all these things happen. So to the loyal listeners, full salute, and I'm looking forward for the future. So have a great day or night, wherever you're hearing this podcast, and that's it for me. Go ahead, Larkin.
All right. First, I want to say thank you all very much. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and also Ebony's artwork is tremendous. I mean that with the utmost sincerity and respect.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Also, I just wanted to say, just check me out, SM Show 1 on Twitter and SoundCloud, MC Larkin 92. I'm looking forward to the future, what's coming with these tapings for Impact in Orlando. I can say I did have Congo Kong on, and he did give a spoiler, so you will be seeing Congo Kong at those tapings in a return role. And I'm just looking forward to the future, man. Very optimistic.
I'm looking forward to every new thing that's going on in Impact. I'm hoping we continue to move forward. We do better. And I can't wait until January.
All
my
right.
birthday and the new set of tapings.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Ebony.
Oh, I was just saying it's my birthday and the new set of tapings, so I can't wait.
Wow, that's going to be awesome. Are you 21 yet, Ebony?
I'm turning 21 right before the tapings.
Oh, okay. You're gonna have a real fun time then. just don't drink too much, okay? Like,
oh no.
Take a few shots, but not all of them.
I don't know about taking any shots. I'm not too sure about that.
Well, then I don't think you'll have anything to worry about then.
No.
But anyways, guys, if you're in the Orlando area or you're going on vacation that week, especially if you live in a cold weather climate like I do, it's 16 degrees right now. But please go see Impact if you're down there. Let's make the Impact Zone rowdy again. That should be the slogan for 2018. The Impact Zone rowdy again. Okay, I want to hear everybody cheering for those tapings. So if you're down there, please head over to the Impact Zone. Go see Impact. I think it's going to be great shows. We got a new team never been in this role before. Let's see what they got. Let's see what happens, and let's have a great 2018 for Impact. But as far as what's coming up on the HeelCast, I know me and Raven usually do a best of 2017 show, so look for that to come out. We're going to be doing it. We're going to be going through the awards, what was the best match, best promo, all that. So look for that to come out. Also, we're going to try to be doing some specialty shows, looking back at some of the maybe past years of Impact. We were also talking about possibly doing some WCW shows for all you WCW fans out there like myself. So we have a lot of different things going on. So, all right, guys, it was a pleasure doing the show with you. Larkin, it was good to have you, man. We hope to hear from you more. Ebony, let's hope we don't have to go 6 months without hearing you.
No.
And Robert, it's good that you have power back in Puerto Rico, man. It's a good thing.
Thanks.
What you're doing down there. So.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, that's the HeelCast for this week.